Hey guys, welcome to the video. Thanks for joining today. I'm going to do my initial impressions video on the Saucony Endorphin Azura. First, I'll give a little disclaimer. This is one of the few shoes I did not purchase with my own money. I got this from Saucony as part of a seed shoe program. Occasionally, probably a couple times a year, different brands send shoes for store employees to test out and get familiar with, and that's how I received these. So I got these from Saucony for free. They don't know I'm making a video about it, or so no one is reviewing my comments or telling me what to say, so the thoughts are my own. Thank you, Saucony. I'm very excited about testing these shoes. I received these as a seed shoe. Been reading lots of good things about these shoes online and what a good deal they are, and I just want to give my thoughts. First, the Endorphin Azura is a non-plated speed type shoe. It's in the Endorphin line, which includes the Endorphin Speed, which is their nylon plated trainer, their Endorphin Pro, which was their first carbon fiber plate shoe, and now they have the Endorphin Elite, which is their top road racing shoe. So this is their non-plated training shoe, but it's got a lot of the DNA of the Endorphin line. They said they used the last of the Endorphin Elite, and this definitely feels a lot like other Endorphin shoes to me a lot as I put it on foot. I've owned the original Endorphin Pro, and I've tried on every version of the Endorphin Speed because we carry them at the store, but I haven't really owned any other of the Endorphin shoes. I will say this one, compared to the Endorphin Pro that I originally had and the Endorphin Speed, is a little wider through the toe box. I find it a little more comfortable. I really like it. The upper is a nice mesh upper. I think it feels, you can actually see lots of holes through it's like a two-layer upper. The top is a really thin design, and then there's like a mesh underneath. It feels more cottony. It has holes all in it, so it does breathe rather well. There's lots of overlays that help give it some stability. I would call this it is definitely a neutral shoe, but it's got some stability in that it has a wider base, and those overlays are really good. It's got a pretty supportive heel counter. You can bend it, but it is pretty built in good support. The laces are pretty standard. I think they do a good job. If I had any one complaint, the tongue is gusseted, so it actually does stay in place good right to left. If I had any one complaint, it would just be that the tongue, there's no lace loop to hold it up. So when you put on the shoe, real often the tongue sinks down, and you just have to make sure you pull it up before you take off. And then it actually stays in place rather well after you get going. Comfortable otherwise. There is enough padding on it to prevent the lace bite. Really good shoe. This uses their speed roll technology, so it's definitely rockered, and you can see the design that it's meant to allow you to roll in from heel to forefoot, or in my case I strike more heel to midfoot, and it just rockers really nice. I will say there's other brands that have rockers on their shoes, but I think Saucony has it pretty dialed in. Their Endorphin series, they've been doing it now for several generations. The star of the show in this one is the Power PB foam. It's basically a peated PBA. It's actually their foam that they get is from the company that makes P-backs, the original branded P-backs, but then they do modify it slightly. So it is their Power Run PB foam, but it is basically a PBA foam. It's really bouncy, lightweight. It's fairly firm feeling, but it feels good underfoot. Outsole wise, they use their XT900 rubber. I wish there was a little bit more coverage, but everything I've read is that this is an extremely durable rubber and lasts well. And in the runs I've done so far, it has gripped really well. And I even ran in this on wet roads and in the rain, and it really did a good job. So far I have put 21 miles in these shoes. Mostly a mixture of running and walking. It feels good doing both. I will say it actually feels a little better running. And especially if you can pick up the pace, because that rocker geometry, it just really wants to propel you forward, and it just feels better when you're able to pick up the pace. The shoe is actually fairly light. It's coming in at 240 grams in a men's size 9 or 8.5 ounces. It has a step, which when I do my men's size 11.5, however, it's going to go up some in weight. My men's size 11.5, I'm getting 271 grams or 9.6 ounces. The stack height in this is 40 in the heel, 32 in the forefoot, which is a little bit higher drop than I usually like. I usually like 0 to 6, but I've run some in 8 recently and it's not really a problem. I find these very comfortable running. I'm enjoying them so far. I am looking forward to doing, if I had anything to say about these, the only negatives I would say so far about the shoe is this tongue is pretty slippery, and without the thing to hold it, does slide down and I have to pull it up. And then they put this reflective, they put a lot of reflective things on here, which is actually very nice. But the reflective thing on the heel has this heavy plastic. I could do without that just to reduce the weight and add a little extra rubber. So, but the rubber, like I said, is still holding up really good. You've got a lot of exposed foam, and you can see I'm already wearing through that exposed foam. That's just going to happen. But anyway, they have been very pleasant to run in so far. Really enjoying them. Anyway, that's really my initial thoughts. I'm planning to get a lot more miles in them, and then I will have follow-up reviews. I'll do a full review once I'm over 50 miles, and hopefully I can do a long-term review in these too, because I am expecting to put a lot of enjoyable miles in these. Anyway, those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up, the like button. If you're interested in more of my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And keep moving.